Okay, so I had a stepmom on my dad's side, and then my stepdad on my mom's side. And my stepdad, um, I don't know where he is. I'm not gonna say his name because might come get me. He he had a rat tail, a long braided mullet that was really long. It was like a foot long, and he would take me swimming, and he was a free diver. We were living in Georgia, and we would always go down to Key West and go snorkeling. And he wanted me to be a free diver like him. And so we would go to the pool, and I'm telling you, he would hold me under the water. Like first we'd be playing, that's what it was. He would be doing that thing where he's like dunking you. And I'm in like second to third grade. So he's lifting me up and pulling me down and lifting me up and hold it. And I'm having fun at first, but then he would hold me down longer. And then finally he put me on the bottom of the pool and stood on my back. I'm like on the bottom, like, and he's holding me, and it's like hurting. And then he would bring me up and I'd breathe and I'm like crying, and he'd hold me back under again. I mean, straight up child abuse. And I got really good at holding my breath. And I remember it felt like he was holding me under until like I would let him, like he would know, like I would give in. I'd stop fighting. So I was either dead or I loved him, one of the two. And so I was getting really good at holding my breath. And then we'd go down to Key West and go snorkeling. Now in the Florida Keys, when there's like a low tide, the water like rushes all the way out, and you could walk out into the ocean until you could barely see the beach. And then there's sandbars, and you can just go swimming, and there'll be a sandbar. It's like just a few, it'd go from like ankle deep to like, not very deep. And then all of a sudden there's just an abyss. It's just like black water, and you'd swim across. And I'm just a little kid following my stepdad and his rat tail floating in the water. And I'd follow him to the next sandbar. And then you'd be at this island, you go to the next sandbar. And I'm like way out in the ocean with him. And one day we get to the sandbar and he tells me to watch him. So I'm like floating on the surface, and he dives down and I can't see him anymore. And then I'm like freaking out. I'm out in the middle of the ocean, and finally I'm like losing my mind. He taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he said that there's like a tunnel or a cave through the other side. And if I wanted to go down, I'm like, no, I don't want to go down there. I want to go home. And he would get so blasted drunk and like burnt in the sun that he wouldn't be able to go with us. And the last time I ever saw him, my mom and I were supposed to go down to Florida or Key West. I'm like fifth grade at this point, and they had a rough night, and he was in his office sleeping on the couch, and my mom took a big pair of silver scissors, like the real big ones. It might have been chrome, I don't know, but anyways, big metal scissors. And she's like, shh, and we like go into his office, and she takes his rat tail and watches me and cuts off his rat tail. It had been growing for like years, and then lays it on his back. And then we like creep back out into the hallway, and we jump in the car and drive down to Florida. And my mom she wanted me to be a model, and she would cover me in like just tanning oil. And she was a model, and she would, side note, my mom would go in store windows, and I don't know if they'd pay her or they would just let her wear the clothes, but she'd stand in the windows. And my stepdad brought me one time. He's like, you want to see your mom? And I remember just looking at her. I didn't know she was real, and then she'd like wink at me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's my mom. Anyways, my mom wanted me to be a model, and I wasn't interested, but she's like kept telling me back in the 80s, she's like, tanning is beautiful, brown, gold, it's beautiful. So if you want to be a model, you're going to have to get you burnt because you got to get that tan to stick. And so I would get so burnt that I would peel layers. And she's like, good. And like, you touch the skin and it would leave a fingerprint. And like the longer the fingerprint would stay, the better the tan was. And this is horrible. I would peel just, and I thought it was good. And now, like when I turn, like at the time, I started seeing the side effects to that when I was like 18, 19 years old. Started getting all my moles removed. I have lots of biopsies. Thanks, Mom. So, yeah, anyways, from that lifestyle, the cocaine and alcohol and tanning, and just ended up, the cancer set in. But anyways, that's my stepdad story, and I'll tell you more. I got a lot of stuff to tell you. Anyways, we're going to keep going.